Thank you for joining me today. I'm Whitney with the Yoga Art Space Studio. And in today's practice, we're focusing all around the hip joint, helping to lubricate that joint, helping to stretch all the muscles that are in that surrounding area. In today's practice, it'll be helpful to have a block and a strap. If you don't have that at home, you can use something else, a substitute such as a scarf or a belt or a towel. And for the block, you could substitute a stack of books. So get those things ready. And then join me laying all the way down onto your back when you're ready. As we're laying here, we're sending a few good deep breaths into our body. Breathing all the way into the belly, imagining that deep belly breath is breathing fresh oxygen, fresh life into our hips. With our exhale, any trapped emotion in the hips are able to release out the mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, long and slow out the mouth. Taking 2 more breaths like that. From here, we leave the left leg on the ground. The right knee starts to come in toward the chest. We clasp our hands around that knee and we begin to trace circles. Choose one direction, perhaps clockwise, and you begin to make little tiny knee circles. It may not be very large right now because we're still almost milking out that joint, but to whatever range of a circle we've got possible, try to trace that. Eventually flip directions, taking the circle to the other direction. And now turn this motion into left and right swinging directions. So the right hand helps to support the right knee, going as wide as it can to the right. When the knee lifts back up, the left hand swings the knee all the way into a spinal twist on the ground. Taking 2 more slow cycles, opening to the right. Swinging over to the left. And 1 more set. With this one, when you head to the left, you're staying in this twist. A few extra breaths. This twist is not meant to be about the spine today. It's meant to be about the hip. So there's various ways we can readjust to make sure the hip is very happy. This might mean we hug the knee in a little bit closer or drop it down further from where it initially went. It could mean the knee gets closer to the ground or we back off a little bit. Play with it until you feel the hip itself starting to open. Taking 3 more deep breaths in and out. Another huge cycle of breath in. And as we exhale, the hips return back to the ground. This is where we grab our strap. Then we set that strap around the ball of the right foot, extending this leg up to the sky. So from here, you're going to take a comfortable grip. A lot of times that means doing loops of the strap around the wrists. And we begin to straighten this leg out so that we're including every little fiber, the entire length of the hamstring muscle. And remember that today it's all about the hips. So rather than just continuously pulling deeper and deeper, today we're taking circles. And so when you're ready, the straight leg starts to circle around. Feel the hip joint getting it looser as we go through this range of motion to all sorts of directions. The hip is a joint that's filled with synovial fluid, and that's why you can sometimes pop the hip. When you release that gas, we help to loosen up the tightness, that compression around the joint. Start to switch directions of the circles that you're taking. So that's what we're seeking for, more space in that hip joint itself. The space not being taken up by those tight gases, rather turning this into simple fluid. Water is the element of the hip, the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra dictates and surrounds the hip area. So we're finding this element of water. Good. From here, bunch up both straps into the right hand. The right hand slides as close to the leg as it can get. And then we start to open the leg out about halfway down to the right, about a 45-degree angle. You don't want to go super wide because this left hip we want to keep completely on the ground. So feel this joint opening. Explore those new muscles that are starting to stretch. And then as the leg raises back up, grip both straps into the left hand, and we're only tilting about halfway down to the left, about that same 45-degree angle. We should be feeling the outer part of this right hip starting to stretch for us. Take another huge breath in. A nice exhale. And then completely release this strap. This right leg returns all the way to the ground. Once it's there, clasp the hands around the left knee. Bringing it in, we start off with some nice circles to each direction. Remember, this is fine to be super small at first. You notice how much looser the right leg feels at this moment, that whole right hip. And we know that that comes by this kind, patient attention. Switch directions of the circle. And then we take 3 cycles with this knee, opening it super wide to left. The knee lifts up and it crosses over toward the right. Traveling open for 2. And one last time, going wide and across. This time we stay. Breathe. Make sure you feel it in the hip joint. The hip starts to return to the ground. We grab onto that strap. And this leg begins to extend upward. Take the loops around the wrist if that was comfortable for the hands before. And then work the leg very straight, including all those fibers of the hamstring. Another breath or 2 to help encourage the hamstring to relax. And then start to take little circles. You can start off super gentle, very small circles, or perhaps by this point you're ready to go wider. After the next circle, we start to switch directions. And one last circle all the way around. Good. Bunch up the straps, both going into left hand. And the leg starts to open to that 45-degree angle to the left. The right is definitely solid on the ground. If there's any lift happening already, raise the angle up a little bit higher instead. Take a wonderful inhale. And then a nice exhale. The leg lifts back up. Strap goes into the right hand. And the leg's crossing about halfway down over toward the right side. Feeling the stretch in the IT band, that beautiful open hip. Another breath gets to flow through our body. And then with our exhale, we release the strap. The strap can be set off to the side. We're done with it. This leg returns to the ground. And then we slide both feet into plant. Hands are on the floor right by our sides. Roll the hips up into bridge pose, lifting them up, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, returning all the way back down. Just two more of those, rolling up. And down. And another. Wonderful work. Here we grab onto our block, lift the hips back up one more time and slide the block under the hips. You can choose a nice low height, or some people like to go a little bit taller. So you choose. Just make sure that you're not getting into the bumpy vertebrae. Instead, it's on the flat part of the hips. We call that the sacrum. So from here, when the hips have settled back down onto this block, take a few wonderful breaths. From here, we take the right ankle up onto the left thigh, and the right knee gets to open wide to the right. Allow that knee to drop as far open as it's willing to right now. Notice where you're feeling it in the hip joint. In a little while from now, we'll be doing the same pose without the block. So I'd like you to start noticing in your body what is different between now and then. Take another wonderful breath in. And then with our exhale, plant this right foot down. Left ankle gets to come up. And same. The knee drops as far open to the left side as it's capable of. Helping that hip joint to realize that it can externally rotate just fine. Let another breath flow in. With the exhale, the foot returns back to the ground. as long as it's comfortable for the body. From here, we extend both legs toward the base of the mat. This elevation of the hip helps to pop the psoas muscle up so that it gets a chance to stretch out. When we're stretching the hips, it's important to include all aspects of the hips, not just the sides, but also the front and the back. Another breath simply flows in and out. And then from here, this right leg is going to trace a slow motion bicycle, only the right leg 3 times. So we start by bringing the right knee in toward the chest as far as it can go muscularly. Then straighten this right leg up to the sky as high as it can reach. Then slow motion, drop that right heel all the way back down. 2 more cycles. Right knee in, up, and down. Last one. Wonderful work. Left side comes in, and it takes its turn, going up and down. Repeating 2. And 1. As both heels are completely relaxed, all muscular effort is released, we take another 2 breaths right here. After the second exhale, the feet slide back in. We lift the hips off the block, removing the block, setting it to the side. And we do a little dance, pressing one hip into the ground and then the other. It's almost like our hips are trying to just shake onto the ground. What this does is help to massage that sacrum that was just elevated. It teaches that sacrum what this flat plane feels like, helping it to return back to a very comfortable, very open state. Transforming this even deeper, both knees take windshield wipers to the left and to the right, left and right. The next time that they're at the left, we stay just a little bit longer. What's helpful about this is that one leg is external, the other leg is internal with its rotation. Only if it feels comfortable for the knee joint, you have an option to pick up the left ankle and rest it all the way up on the right side. Dropping the ankle down if you lifted it, both knees go to the right. We stay, and you have the chance to bring the right ankle up as long as that's still comfortable. Dropping it down, 2 more sets of windshield wipers left and right, and again. When we finish, the knees are upright again, and just as I promised, take the right ankle up onto the left thigh and feel this version of the right knee opening. I like to make sure the foot's flexed. That helps to include a few extra muscle groups in the stretch. You have a few choices. Option 1 is to use the right hand to push the right knee as wide open as it wants to go. The second option is to thread the arms around that left thigh or the left shin, hugging it in nice and tight. And the third option is what's available if you cannot quite make this clasp, but you want to go to that direction. And that's simply to take the strap around the left thigh so you have a little bit of extra grip, that extra reach to get into the shape. So wherever we're at, feel the breath flowing all the way into the low belly as if the oxygen gets to touch directly into the hips with the inhale. That's not exactly how the lungs work, but envisioning that does, I imagine, help to send life force to this area of the body. There's that quote, where our attention goes, our energy flows. Take one more good deep breath into the body. With our exhale, we release, switch the legs out, and take the same version that you did on the other side, or whatever version works for this hip. Whether that's pushing the knee open, clasping, or using the strap once more. Another good breath gets to flow in. Our comfortable exhale, release. I'd like us to roll like a ball a few times, specifically paying attention to the gentle massage through the hip. Take it one more time back. And when we come up, we allow this left leg to stay tucked in. And we cradle this right leg out. One hand on the foot, one hand on the knee, unless you can go deeper to the forearm or to the elbow. Posture's tall, the toes are lifting, and we rock this hip out several times, left and right. We drop this ankle down onto the left knee. Both shins are stacked, and from here we begin to lean forward. It could be a very small, gentle leaning, or you could go extremely deep, relaxing all the way up and over. Our goal here, not only in this rotating of the hips, that's not only to get that, but also to include our low back in the stretch. Enjoying that stretch across the glutes. If the glutes are tight, they'll pull against the hips. Stretching all sorts of muscle groups around that area. Roll the spine up, drop the right leg down, and cradle out the left, rocking it a few times, nice and gentle, left and right. Another wonderful set in and out. Dropping this one down, take a chance to walk forward. Spine returns up. From here, slip both feet into cobbler's pose. Don't force the knees open for this one. Just let them open to whatever range of possibility you have accessible today. I do have open knees, and you may not, and that's okay. Make sure your hips are able to stack up tall rather than hips pulling us backwards. If the pulling is your situation today, sit on a block. That'll help you out. Take a few breaths, rounding your spine up and over your legs. When we return the spine back up, use the right hand to pick the right knee up, flip it over to the left side, and then continue to take this spiral through the spine over that left shoulder. The spine returns, the right knee flips back open, drop forward again into cobbler's pose. Spine rolls up, left knee gets flipped up and over, and from here, spiral over the right shoulder into that gentle press. Good, returning back open, one last chance, going up and over. And as we return back up, we're going to swing our knees underneath our body, coming to a nice kneeling position. Take 3 rounds of cat-cow, rounding the vertebrae up, dropping the belly down. 2. And 1. As we're thinking of that element of water, that movement, that cat-cow is one of the ways in which we can definitely feel the fluidity in the hips. Now from here, in this kneeling position, we're going to start working on the left joint just a bit more. And so this left knee is going to open directly out to the side as if we're a dog in a fire hydrant, and bring that knee back down. Repeating 4. This is helping the mobility of that joint. 3. 2. Also helping to strengthen the surrounding muscles. Last 1. Beautiful. Walk the hands 1 hand distance forward. Tuck the toes, lift the hips to down dog. And from this shape, this left leg lifts directly back up to the sky. Bending the knee, trace this knee in a few circles, maybe 3 to each direction. And reverse. Beautiful. Extending it back up. Then we step the left foot to the outside of left hand. Drop the right knee down. This is a place where you could use the block under your hands if that's helpful. The hips are sinking forward, helping to stretch the front part of the hip on the right side. If you'd like to drop down into lizard pose, you can return back to hands, or even drop just the right elbow onto the block. Going further is also allowed, your choice. From here, planting the right hand back down, whether it's on the block or the floor. Turn the left toes to the left. The right hand is on the right knee, helping to push it open just a bit deeper. Feel even the whole spine spiral open, but especially the hip. Let another breath flow in and out. And then plant the hands. Bring this knee back underneath your body, and we take it onto the other side. Right knee, dog at the fire hydrant, lifting open and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Right leg floats, bend the knee, and start to introduce circles. 3, 2, 1, reverse. 3, 2, 1. Extend the leg back up. Step right foot to the outside of right hand, dropping left knee down. Perhaps you're going back up with the block, or perhaps you're going to a deeper version, closer to the ground, with the elbows on the floor or on the block. None of these poses are right, none of them are wrong. It's just how your hip wants to open today. So if you dropped down, left hand is back to the floor or to the block. The right toes turn to the right side, and then the right hand pushes the right knee open that side. Feel the whole spine rotate, feel the left hip drop just a bit. Take another wonderful inhale. And exhale. Return this right knee under your body and take our way directly up to down dog. Shake the hips out, anything that helps to shift them left and right. From here, step the right foot forward in between your hands. We try to rise up to a lunge shape, so hands up to the thigh, and then upright we are. This is a chance to help strengthen some of the hip muscles. So what we're doing, whatever our hands need to do for balance, we take that shape, and then we bend the back knee, dropping it a little bit closer to the ground, and straighten it back up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, rotate both toes open to a 45-degree angle. Bring the hands to the inner parts of the thighs. And as you sit the hips back, we're pushing the inner thighs wider open. It's like a frog pose, only we're balancing here. And a strong goddess. Good. Straightening the legs, reverse directions. We're facing to the back of the mat. We're trying to pop up onto the right toes if our balance is there. Hands are whatever helps us. Balance beam arms, hands at the heart, hands on the thigh, whatever is helpful. And 5 cycles. Down and up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rotate back open to goddess. And either stay right here, rocking left and right, just tiny little motions, or drop the hands down toward the right side and come over that right foot, low squat. Continue to turn the knee open. Keep this inner thigh stretching. Another good breath on this side. Switch it up and over to the other. Huge inhale. Nice exhale. Good. Walking the hands back up to the top of the mat, the right foot steps back. And from here, take a downward facing dog, hips lifting super high as if they're an arrow pointing up to the heavens. Right leg floats up to the sky. Take the right knee underneath the body as pigeon pose. The back leg scoots back if there's more space. And then we drop down to the elbows, sleeping pigeon. Just make sure you're not collapsing onto the right hip. We want our sacrum to be level, as if we could balance a serving tray on the hips. Another huge breath in. Wonderful exhale. Planting the hands down, tuck the back toes. Lifting up, a moment with down dog, little pedaling and freeing motions for the hips, especially the right one. Sometimes I even want to do a little circle or two. When you're ready for left hip, step it under and through. Scoot the back toes backwards, and we get a chance to rest. This wonderful sleeping pigeon. Take another breath in and out. Last down dog of the day. Plant the hands, lift back up, maybe circle left knee or pedal the legs for a moment. We come down to sit. We roll down onto our backs. And we take happy baby pose for just a moment. Grabbing onto the outside edges of feet. What movements are helpful? Is it helpful to pull down? Is it helpful to rock across the low back? Or find a wonderful straightening and bending of the whole leg. Eventually release the hands, turn this into a simple hands on knee shape, and take one last chance to simply rock the low back, rock the hips, rock the knees. One more breath in and out. Either take your legs into normal Shavasana, long onto the ground, or perhaps today you're taking the cobbler's pose with the bottoms of the feet together, the knees naturally opening. Either way, we enjoy a few wonderful rounds of breath. Several minutes, envisioning the water element. With our breath, it's almost like the water is rushing up toward the tip of our head and down toward our toes. A nice inhale, a nice exhale, feeling the cleansing of the element of water. Let this breath go. Begin to deepen the inhales and the exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. And eventually rolling over, taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Enjoy another huge inhale. A relaxing exhale. And inhale, we come up to rise. With our hands joined together in front of our heart. We take a breath in, feeling that rush of water all the way up. And exhale, water rushing back down like an ocean wave. One more breath like that. And with this cleansing fluidity of the element of water to lead us on toward a magnificent day, let's wrap up the time we got to share together with the sound of a silent Om resonating in our head through an entire exhale. Inhaling together now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.